Alrighty, so today is May 8th. We're going to answer the same 8 questions that I've answered a couple other times. MJ is sprawled out next to me about this whole thing and how we're living history. So, question 1. What did the government announce, declare, or implement today? Did it make sense? How did it impact your life? And how did your family respond? So, yesterday, I think it was announced, like the Amber Alert noise, that'll come through on my phone a few times. It hasn't yet, so I'm assuming it's going to today. I feel like she normally announces it on Fridays. So, anywho, but it was publicly posted that the governor of Michigan extended the stay-at-home order until May 28th. So, essentially, a couple more weeks. I think it was supposed to be up next week. To be honest, I don't really know. So, to me, I expected it to happen. I suppose it makes sense just because a lot of states that are reopening, they are seeing like a lot more spikes and stuff. So I do understand why she did that. Does it impact my life? Not really anymore. I would say since I've been home this time, it's gotten a lot easier, which is like questions later. I'm just really enjoying being home, to be completely honest. So I guess it's impacting my life in a positive way, at least currently, when my unemployment finally will go through and I can get paid. Then it will be fully positive, but okay. Question number 2. What is open in your neighborhood? What is closed? So right now, just about everything is still closed. It was before. I know restaurants in the next week or this week, next week, are opening up for takeout and stuff like that. That is something that I guess would be new that is becoming open. Like a lot of places have been closed for quite some time. So pretty much everything is still closed. Starbucks opened up this week and stop it. Today I treated myself to the first Starbucks I've had in 2 months, and I did that partly because I wanted to. I miss my Starbucks coffee. And then the other part, I just wanted to see like what it's like with stuff reopening. So yeah, which leads to question 3. What does your neighborhood look like? Are people walking around? So my neighborhood is pretty much the same. People are still walking around and stuff like that. When I take MJ in the trails, there's tons and tons of people. Come on. There's tons and tons of people in the trails, walking with families, walking their pets. I've seen so many kids like learning to ride bikes and stuff like that. It's been really, really cool to watch. And I think it's something that a lot of families wouldn't normally do. Like I can go on the trails in the summer and it's normally never that busy, but it's busy all the time when you go. So I think that's something that's really cool. And just like also I think it'll slow down change as more people go back to work. So do you want to go get a toy? Do you want to go get a toy? Go get a toy. My dog. Go get a toy. Go get one. Okay, so question number 4. How is today different from yesterday for you, your family, our nation, and the world? I would say today's pretty much no different other than I went to Starbucks for the first time. I think I personally am less frightened to go out now. I went to the store just to get things for dinner tonight because we have to go grocery shopping. I feel more comfortable. I know a lot of people don't. There's like in the state of Michigan, they require face masks when you go in places. I know they're requiring face masks for some places. Some places will not let you in, period. And other places it's fine. Like when I went to Meijer, I would say 95% of the people have face masks. All of the workers, I believe, are required to. And then there's very, very few people without masks. I don't think it's helping my immune system to just like continuously be covered every time I go in public. Like I have a pretty strong immune system. I mean, I work in the mall. I just graduated college. I've been around people for so long in like very germy areas. So I think I'm doing a disservice to my personal immune system by wearing a mask every time I go in public because I'm so used to it. So that's something, I guess, that's different. Yeah. And also the days have kind of, I would say, evened out for me. Like, I really don't have a lot of depression, I guess I would say, or like I'm really stressed out about it. My unemployment stresses me out, but that's like a whole separate thing. But other than that, I would say my days are pretty leveled, and I just kind of do everyday stuff just at home. So like cleaning up dishes, laundry, that kind of stuff. I just know how to balance it a lot more. So I would say that's what's different from like previous weeks. 5. Do you see any examples of racism, privilege, and income inequality in any of the events that happened today? This is locally, state, nationally, or the world. So not really, like I haven't seen any. There's okay, I guess the protests in Michigan, they were predominantly white and they had guns and stuff. So I would say even though that they didn't necessarily like nobody was dying, like it was a protest, just, and it is 100% every American's right. I just think if like Black people were to do it, it would be completely different if they were carrying guns. So I think that's like the biggest thing that I've seen the difference in, which was pretty astounding. And a lot of people have mixed views on like the protests and stuff. A lot of them were like blocking hospitals and stuff. They went to our governor's home, which I don't think is okay. And going to school for HR, 100%, you have the right to protest, and like that's totally fine, do that. But you can't block hospitals, you can't go to people's homes. Like that, to me, that's a personal boundary that like people need to respect if they haven't. But that kind of goes with like racism and privilege. Like a lot of people couldn't do that, and it was a lot of white people that were doing that. And I'm not fully educated on that, so it's just like from how I see it, which obviously can change with more education that you get. So number 6, did you see anything today that gave you hope, anxiety, or fear? Yes, like me going to Starbucks, that's like hope of some type of normalcy eventually. And my anxiety and fear is pretty much just like leveled out. The only I would say main stress that I have is my unemployment. I have a certain issue on my thing, and a lot of other people do too, and it's taken them 6, 7, 8 weeks to get it taken care of, and they've gone 100% without pay. So we are currently on week 4 that I have filed for, and I have not received any type of a paycheck, which is really, really stressful. And you can't get through on the phone lines. They've closed the chat. Really stress that I get is from unemployment. You cannot get a hold of anybody, period, like at all. And like I understand that they're working on the issues, but like the phones are completely like busy. They hang up on you all the time. It's a very frustrating thing. I'm in a group chat for it, and some people are having luck. I would say 99% of people are not. So that's just something, I would say that's my only like stressor. I've just pretty much leveled out, and I actually enjoy being home. Shocker. So number 7. What does your family need today that you might not have enough of or have no access to acquire? Nothing. I think like we're still doing okay. Even though I'm not getting paid, I have some money to continue paying my bills, and even then Dalton is still working because he was an essential employee anyway. We're fine. I'm just stressed about not getting paid. I know it will come, but currently the bank account looks scary. So that's my only thing. Other than that, like we have literally everything that we need. Same with all of our families. So yeah. And then what do you and your other families have that others may need? I would say just from seeing in this unemployment group how many people are like how much more they need this money than I do. Pretty heartbreaking, I would say. And then also how worked up people get. Maybe it's just because I have a little more faith in the system, which is because I guess I don't have a reason not to, but I just know that like the issues will get resolved, and calling 100 times a day plus is not going to help, which I understand because I have called 100 times in one day and got nowhere. But I think realizing like that's not helping the phone lines get cleared, that's not helping the workers like solve everyone's issues. I would say just understanding that and having peace with that is something that a lot of people don't, and I can understand where people that need the money, that can be a huge issue. So that's one thing that I would say that like I personally have is just like patience and faith, and also enough money to get me through so far. That could change, but I would like I'm okay, and I know a lot of people aren't. So that would be like the main thing, which I don't think that's really changed at all. And I feel like a lot of people are finding a lot more things now than they were before. Like things are just coming slowly back in stock. I know they're still limiting things. There are a lot more things there than there were at the beginning. So that's pretty much all I got. Also say that like the roads at the very beginning were empty. There were next to no cars on the road at all. Today, when I went to Meijer and Starbucks, it was, I would say, pretty much back to normal. Tons of cars on the road. Like it wasn't just like oh, you're getting on the highway and there's not a car that it's like, oh, I actually need to watch out for several other vehicles that are actually on the road, which I think is interesting because like a lot of stuff still is not open. Like you still can't go into restaurants. A lot of restaurants still haven't reopened, even if it is for takeout and delivery. So yeah, I just think that's really interesting. But yeah, that's it, and yeah, that's all I got.